You know what I'm saying? Now, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, let me just make sure I got that right. To be honest, he probably should have took a medical and went back to college. He grows up, he found that, and he was great at it, better than a lot of his peers his age. I'm finally better than y'all or something. And he's feeling the love. And put your team down in the comments, and you know what I mean, I'll try to put them in there, especially the ones the people who support the thing. And it's the conundrum that we've always, they're telling you that your brand means more than the hard work. Why in the world would you ever say something like that? All you gotta do is just pay attention to what's going on. Yo, yo, yo. Y'all see it? Y'all see it?
What up? What up?
You got your two favorites, you know what I'm saying? You got DP, you got Chubbs. What's going on with everybody, man? Hope that everybody's feeling good. Y'all tuned into some of y'all NFL preseason games. We appreciate y'all rocking out here with us, though. What's up, D? How you feeling, bro?
So I'm feeling good, man. The season here, baby. It's football season, man. Let's do it.
What? I said we gotta call this one. I said this is the college football crash out, because I got so much energy built up for a lot of these topics. Like, and that's because the season is here. The season is here right now, and I just don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it feel like I'm ready to suit up and go out on the field my damn self, D. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to go play myself right now. But man, so much going on, man. Rather it's been that I didn't talk Colorado so much. I there's nothing else I can say right now besides let's just get to the games with that. You know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and get to the games with that. Although we do got that on the slate, though. But you know what I'm saying? I want to start off hot. You know what I mean? I got a whole show dedicated to talking about CU. I ain't here to that. You know what I'm saying? We here to talk college football, and I want to start off with Alabama. Is Alabama still a college football playoff lock type of program? Because you got to stop judging Alabama against everybody else, right? Alabama ain't judged whether they're good. They're judged by whether Alabama is good. You know what I'm saying? A 10-win team at certain schools, that gets you status, a stature, however you want to put that, D. It leads, you know what I'm saying? That's good at some schools. But there's 10 wins at Alabama, and then you got fans like, oh, something went wrong. Something ain't right. Because that's Nick Saban's standard. But Nick ain't there no more. And I hear a lot of Alabama fans screaming and hollering, and I hear something that's content of what's going on with Kellen DeBoer. But I just had that question. Will Alabama get back to just being Alabama? I mean, is or do they even need to, D?
Well, first thing first, man. Shout out to the people in the comment section. Deepwater One, Japal, you feel me? Motivated, educated, you feel me? Shout out to y'all for coming through, rocking out with us, man. But Alabama, man. Kalen DeBoer, I'm starting to lose a lot of confidence in him, man. He trying to bring that Pac-12 vibe to the SEC, and it ain't gonna work out for him, man. But what I will say, they got an elite, talent-rich secondary. They got a few good pieces in their secondary, you feel me? And they got an elite wide receiver, Ryan Williams. He gonna do his thing. And they got a quarterback battle, you feel me? The young Keelan Russell, he in competition with Austin Mack. He looking real promising. He in the battle, and Keelan Russell, he might win the job. You never know. But I think Alabama, they want to go with the older guy, preferably. But the main concern with Alabama, what I've been hearing, is the offensive line, man. Are they going to be able to protect the quarterback? Are they going to be able to run the ball? The running game was looking kind of ugly last year. Mm-hmm. And not only that, October is going to be treacherous for Alabama. They got to play Georgia. They got to play Tennessee. They got to play Texas A&M. And they got to play LSU all in the month of October. So it might get real ugly for Kalen DeBoer if they can't run that football, baby. If it look anything like it did at the latter half of last year.
Mm-hmm. Facts, bro. Hey, look. Now, I do feel like Alabama will be able to run the ball. I do. I feel like Alabama will be able to go ahead and they'll be able to run the ball. But, I want to start off with, like, is it obvious? Like, there's questions like the Alabama roster, I think, they still got talent over there in Alabama. Yeah. I still believe that, right? I do. I still think that there's NFL players walking around in that facility, blue chip players walking around in that facility. You know what I'm saying? The logo is still going to get guys through the Alabama doors. You know what I mean? So talent ain't the question for me with Alabama. I think the question for me is like whether Alabama can be elite, consistent at the quarterback position. Like they don't got to be elite. Excuse me. Let me take that back. Can they be consistent at the quarterback position? What is going on with the quarterback position at Alabama right now? Right. Like, I think I don't doubt that Kellen DeBoer's teams can be able to run the ball, right? Because he's done it up at Washington, and with 1,000-yard back and Jonah Coleman, I believe. Jonah Coleman, he wound up staying with Washington with Jad Fish, but he had 1,000-yard back. You know what I mean? People forget that. So I do think that physicality will translate over into that Alabama culture, right? I think filling any coach that went to go fill Nick Saban's shoes was going to have a tough time doing that. You going in there after that. That's why there wasn't a bunch of coaches throwing their hat in the ring in the first place. You know what I mean? They weren't putting their ticket in the hat. They weren't trying to jump in the ring to go take that Alabama job in the first place. So,
I'd say, Chubb, here's the problem with the whole Washington thing and Kalen DeBoer was able to run the ball at Washington. Mm-hmm. That was in the Pac-12. They ain't play no defense over there. There wasn't no defense being played in the Pac-12. Not even the SEC, baby. And then the last few games that he showed us, they wasn't able to run the ball. You had negative rushing yards in the SEC championship against Georgia, almost negative rushing yards against Oklahoma, and then Indiana, oh my lamb, another negative rushing yard game. So now teams finna make you throw the ball and make you beat them with the pass. They ain't gonna respect the run game, and then you just lost on Proctor that went to the NFL draft. So you got some offensive linemen that I've been hearing that ain't been looking too promising because Houston ain't been there. They ain't been having no camaraderie in practice, and with the schedule that they have coming up, they better tighten up. In the SEC, you got to be able to block. You got to be able to run the ball in the SEC, man. So I don't really have no confidence. Yeah, he did it at Washington, but I feel like it was a more favorable schedule when he was at Washington in Pac-12 compared to being in the SEC with the big dogs, man. The SEC, they got the most guys drafted year in and year out, even though the ACC had the most trench players drafted in the first round this past draft. But, hey, that's needed to be said.
I feel you with that, right? I feel you. Right? The thing is, I feel is that a schedule is a schedule, bro. You can't help your schedule, right? Now, you know what I mean? Of course, the SEC schedule going to be different because they play SEC teams, right? Of course, Mississippi State Bulldogs is going to have a tougher schedule than a Pac-12 team, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they're playing SEC teams. The schedule is the schedule that he playing. Now, whether he ran the ball effectively or not, you know what I mean? I think that's what it boils down to. Alabama, they do have to run the ball at an elite status to get back to championship. You know what I mean? You have to be able to do that at an elite, a great to elite caliber in order to win championships, right? That we could agree with that. You got to be getting those over 160 rushing yards a game. You got to be able to stop the run also to do that. We just talked a little bit about that yesterday, by the way, which is crazy why this is coming up again. But I do feel like your schedule, you can't help that. You know what I mean? The Pac-12 was the Pac-12. Now, he can get the players over. He also, and I know I'm kind of playing just for the sake of the conversation and where the conversation's going and us, going back and forth with it. He also didn't get all of his guys in, and he's trying to get a lot of his guys in. The personnel that he had there they say was more pass blocking. I'm only can go off of what some Alabama fans are telling me, and then my schedule. So now that he's gotten those guys in there, and he's been there, this is year 3 for DeBoer. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
We got to be real, Chubb. When Nick Saban left, the roster wasn't bare, man. The roster was loaded when Nick Saban left, man. Like, I can see if it was a situation to where, I always got to throw McCain's in there. When Mario first got to Miami, we needed help, man. We was depleted on the line in the trenches. We didn't really have the bodies, you feel me, when it came to where they mattered. It wasn't like that for Caleb DeBoer. You had big boys all across the board. I feel like it was more so a mentality thing when it comes to Caleb DeBoer, dog. I feel like he tried to bring that West Coast flavor to the SEC, and then I don't really think Caleb DeBoer got any ties in the South. I don't know if we know any like Southern coaches, you feel me, to get the landscape or the scope of how it was gonna be when he got to the SEC, but he found out real quick. Now, mind you, the seasons wasn't that bad, but the way they've been losing when they do lose, it ain't Alabama football. I feel like the fans of Alabama would have a little bit more respect if they looked more competitive in their losses instead of just getting, you feel me, when they lose a game.
I feel that. I don't think then they get now. If any Bama fans out there, didn't y'all go get 2 freshmen running backs? They went and got 2 freshman running backs, Brown, and I don't remember the other young man's name, but here I can look it up though real quick. I can look it up.
Why you looking it up, man? And 2, man, I'm not gonna sleep on when they play Auburn.
EJ Crowd. They went and got EJ Crowd. So they went and got some backs. The offensive line, I think, over at Alabama, I believe. They got we'll see what's going on with Alabama, but they got some juniors over there. They got a young offensive line. So I'm not too confident in that. And maybe that's why a lot of the Alabama fans are taking a step back this year and saying
they got a chance to lose 4 games, Chubb. I think that Iron Bowl gonna be real interesting. You played Alex Golesh when he was at USF, and they took it to the wire. Well, now he got some more size and a scheme that's gonna have you sweating out there being prepared. If you can't get that man off the field on 3rd down, it's gonna be trouble for a lot of teams when it comes to Auburn. And they got 2 running backs that can do what it do, and Byron Brown got all his receivers coming with him, and a lot of those guys got a pretty decent average when it comes to yards per catch. So it might look real interesting as far as the Auburn Tigers this upcoming season. So y'all don't sleep on that team. It might be a sleeper team in the SEC this upcoming season.
That's crazy. Like Alabama, look, she cooking. Alabama doesn't have to become the next Nick Saban's Alabama. They ain't got to do that. But Alabama damn sure they can't just become another good SEC team. They can't do that. They can't just be another mediocre 8-9 win a year type teams. That's not for Alabama. I don't even think fans would be good with 10. But I do got a question for the audience. Like, is making the playoff good enough for Alabama in 2026? Or does Alabama really need to win multiple playoff games? Do they have to advance in the playoffs, or do Alabama make it to the playoffs? I would like to hear from y'all.
I feel like they got a favor last year. I feel like they got I think their logo got them in the playoffs last year. I don't really think they deserved it last year, especially after the performance that they put on in the SEC championship. Could we really say they deserved to be there? And then they was in a dog fight with Oklahoma, which kudos to Oklahoma. They got a great defense. But the display they put on against Indiana, what? Alabama would never. Nick Saban, Alabama would never.
Yo,
tough, man.
That's why this is the college. That's why it's college football crash out. Just for that, because it's hard for me to sit here and say that. Like, I'm trying to turn over this new leaf, D. As you can see, I'm trying to be a little bit more positive when I'm up here talking behind the mic, and I don't want to just drag. But you got to be real when you're talking about football. You got to be, right? It ain't all sunshine and rainbows, right? And Alabama's, they got a reputation for winning, and the fans is spoiled by that. And I can't. Missing the college football playoff would be a much bigger story for Alabama than than a lot of programs that's out there. You agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Their fans are gonna be hot. Listen, I finally get a chance to, I don't really listen to the Paul Feinbaum show, but when Alabama lose, I tune in because it's very interesting. Them Alabama fans be going in, they be going ham, man. If you want to get you some good laughs, tune in to a Paul Feinbaum show after they lose, after Alabama lose. It's gonna be hilarious.
I remember that last year. You sent me a clip of an Alabama fan going crazy on the Paul Fine show last year. He was going crazy. I was like, yo, he was going off. Like, we can't have this. We can't have that. And I feel like that's a lot of college football teams that's out there, man. But Alabama, man, y'all got to get it together, man. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up somebody else real quick.
Let's do it.
I'm going to pull up somebody else. You know what I mean? Because let me see if I can get their schedule first. I got to get to their schedule first, and then once I get to their schedule, to get them on the screen. Hopefully they load up. I don't know, my computer it be acting weird sometimes. All right, it popped up for me.
We money.
We good. All right, bet. So I mean, like Penn State, like, look, I was talking about this, and I was like earlier this week, and I said I gotta talk about this on the show. I have to talk about this because did Penn State make a mistake moving on from James Franklin and going to Matt Campbell? Did they do that? I think Penn State wanted more, and I get that, right? I understand that part of Penn State, but that's what is making this a whole conversation in a good point, right? Because sometimes the most dangerous thing that you can do to a football team or in college football, and it's frustrating, is being very good at what you do and then risk becoming average, trying to chase in being great. Hold up. That's a bar. Let me slow that down real quick, D. I said trying to be very good, taking the risk while you chasing being because you're being average, right? So you being very good at the risk of becoming average because you chasing being great. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on with Penn State. So I just want to have this, like, right? Do you think that Penn State made the mistake moving on from James Franklin and going to Matt Campbell?
Chubb, gotta be real with you, dog. I definitely feel like they made a mistake for the simple fact. You went and got Matt Campbell. So let's talk about it. Matt Campbell has never won the Big 12. James Franklin ain't win the Big 12. Matt Campbell will get you 8, 9 wins, maybe 10 in the Big 12, but he ain't finna win the big game. He's not gonna get you to the dance. So it sounds like y'all just got another version of James Franklin, but which I feel like y'all got the great value version of James Franklin. Right. He was in a lesser conference. And then, they're bringing in their offensive coordinator for Iowa State, Taylor Mooser. And they bringing back Coach Clinton, the offensive line coach. And they got Rocco Beck. And they also got 17 of they got 24 players from Iowa State also. So you're basically bringing in Iowa State to play Big 10 football, which you know how I feel about the Big 12. They barely can compete in the Big 12. So now you're going to the Big 10 and think you're finna go do something. It might be trouble in Happy Valley. It might be Sad Valley by the time Matt Campbell get done. I'm just saying.
Emotional damage.
Hey yo, like, look.
And me and you ready for the whiteout game, Tub. We got them all white. We ready for the whiteout game, but it might be real sad out there in Happy Valley, dog.
You ain't lying. I like the white too. Fresh one. You know what I'm saying? You go right to the corner store. You might get $5.
And this wasn't playing, ladies and gentlemen. This wasn't playing. This great mindset of light.
right. But it like, look, bro. You gotta understand, Penn State fans. And listen to me, right? You have to understand how difficult it is to be consistent and how difficult winning is in college football, right? Be careful when you kicking a 10-win season out the door. 10-win seasons is not easy to come by. They're not, right? They're just not, right? Because the replacement that you got for James Franklin, his win total. Did you pay attention to that? I think that's why y'all brought him in, because of his success. I'm not going to trip on that, right? But not only did I'm not saying that Matt Campbell's not a good coach. I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is that Matt Campbell now inherits all of James Franklin's problems, bro. Like all that, like they didn't hire Matt Campbell to go 8-4. Matt Campbell can't go up there and go 7-5. He can't go to Happy Valley and go 9-3 because y'all didn't want 10-win seasons. Y'all wanted a playoff berth, is what Penn State fans wanted. So a 10-2 season ain't what you like. That's me. That's average. That's him breaking even, right? You're breaking even with your investment because you let that go. So now you want 11-1 or 12-0, right? I don't know, but that's what it seems like, because you're kicking James Franklin out the door over one bad season, right? You know what I mean? He made you can't do that. So
and if you want to be honest, Chubb, they really fired him because it was tough for him to beat Ohio State and Michigan for the most part. And then now the Big Ten has gotten a little tougher. But you got a coach. He don't really beat the big boys like that himself. And the real problem was they refused to get and adapt to this new NIL era. Instead of firing James Franklin, you should have put all that money you used to fire him into NIL and get the better players and build up that roster. But instead, you went and paid a coach from a conference that, quite frankly, I don't feel like measures up.
Right, bro. And that's bottom line. Like, and that's the difficult part with this. Y'all have to understand that Penn State, what y'all actually did.
One is a what crazy man.
Did. Like, but what'd she say?
Say one crazy though.
One. I'm trying to
that man crazy.
He said Penn State will be haunted by the ghosts of Sandusky. Penn State is cursed. Man,
crazy dog.
Give him a bomb. Hey, I'm trying to get them to pop up on this. I'm trying to get the comments to pop up on the screen. That's what I was doing right now. I'm trying to get them to just so they could just be flowing on the so I could just have them up there, because I don't understand why they ain't up there. They should be. You know what I mean? I think that's what I got it set for, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get that up there. Why they ain't coming up there like that? I don't understand. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Oh, here we go. It's just this easy. Bam. Just like that. Just like that. Bam. Bam. That's like that. You know what I mean? That's like that. But I don't know if because that's the ceiling, right? And that's what y'all hiring him for. So if Matt Campbell go 9-3, what are people going to say? What do you think the people at Penn State's going to say if Matt Campbell goes 9-3? Is that acceptable?
Why would if he goes 9-3? What was the point of firing James Franklin? But at the same time, if he go 9-3, I feel like they'll give him some leeway because it's his first season. But it's hard for me to buy that, man. You can't be bringing a new defensive scheme in there, and I don't think they a 3-3 school, 3-3-5 school. You feel me? You go into a company that like to run the ball. The Big Ten finna run all through that 3-3-5, and then 17 players left that was on the previous roster from last year, which I feel like you probably could have used that. And they have no proven top wide receiver on the roster. So who's Rocco Beck gonna throw the ball to? You feel me? You're not gonna just go to the Big Ten thinking you finna run the ball all over the Big Ten.
That part. I don't think 9-3 is acceptable when you're bringing a veteran quarterback like Rocco Beck. Rocco Beck is the most experienced quarterback in all of college football, I believe, right now, right? Right? He has the most starts over anybody, right? Correct?
I ain't 100% sure on that.
Okay, that sounds about right. Y'all can fact check me on that, but if I'm not mistaken, Rocco Beck has the most has the most experience on the football or on a college football field out of all quarterbacks who have been returned back to college. Because Dante Moore, I think what was it? No, last year was his first full year. I think Trinidad Chambliss didn't start technically at Division I football, right? So you can't go with Chambliss, even though he performed well. John Maytier at Oklahoma, maybe he played out Wazoo. Would you say that that's division? Would you say that that's?
I know my boy Darren Minster. He don't been playing a lot of football.
Okay, yeah, Darren Minster been playing a lot of football. That
might have been, I don't know. It depends on when they came in.
Close enough. but he's one that so it's not safe to say he has the most, right? So what I'll say, and I'll rephrase my words here, and I'll use my words wisely, and I'll just say that he's one of the most experienced quarterbacks in all of college football. And when you have that, and I'm not saying that a quarterback position is everything, but you had inherited some of Penn State things, Matt Campbell. 9-3 is not acceptable. But all I have to say, D, on this whole topic with Penn State is that don't fire a 10-win coach because you want 12 wins and then you just going to be okay with celebrating 9 of them.
I'm mad at that, especially with this schedule, man. Now, if they go 9-3, you feel me, I can see where the 3 losses come. But if you slip up and go 8-4 or 7-5,
yeah,
we got to talk.
How many?
Why we got to talk?
Right? No, for real, dog. Like straight up. Like how many seasons should Matt Campbell get before Penn State? Before the Penn State fans say, "Okay, it's time to buckle down." Like how many seasons before you judge his move? How many seasons does Matt Campbell get at Penn State before people start to judge his move? How many? I don't know.
What to do, North?
What's up, North Flow? What's up, North Flow? What's going on, man? What's going on? Juan, you can't click the comments neither. Oh, they out there anyway. They on the screen. But yeah, I don't know how many seasons do they get? How many?
Hey,
I don't know.
If that first season look ugly, man, we got to talk, man.
With this schedule,
the schedule's kind of manageable to me as far as you being a Penn State fan.
Yeah,
but
right.
At the same time, man, I don't know how Matt Campbell gonna look in the Big Ten. You feel me? You got a high roster turnover, bringing most of Iowa State players, which they look good in the Big 12, like we've said a couple of times. But man, this is the Big 10. Man. Might get a little tough for you, man. I've been hearing some nice things about Wisconsin. They might be a little better than they was last year. Then you got USC, Michigan on the schedule, Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, and Maryland. You feel me? So what the ball in Matt Campbell court right now, man? What are you gonna do? It's gonna be interesting to see, though. I'm not that confident in
it is. Yeah, it is. Man, I don't know. The whole question was, and I feel you. But my question is, did they make a mistake? You know what I mean? Is he gonna do it? I think he got to come in there. I get it. You got to give him some leeway. It's year 1 up at Penn State, so if he go 9-3 in his first year, y'all gonna be okay with that, right? But then where does it plateau at? You know what I mean? Because James Franklin, we got to remember, James Franklin is only at Virginia Tech. He was recruiting that pipeline. He did a very good job. Yeah. You might as well say
that's the thing, Chuck. They got to compete against him in recruiting now. He's going to come in y'all area and recruit for those players.
There you go. That's that part. And not only that, his whole team that he had, right? He had Brent Pry as a defensive coordinator up at Penn State when Penn State was very successful, right? And now he got Brent Pry back as a defensive coordinator after Virginia Tech after they fired him as being their head coach at Virginia Tech.
And some would say in the lesser conference than the Big Ten also.
All right.
And Virginia Tech, they're not going to demand too much from James Franklin. Hey, 9 wins for Virginia Tech, they throwing a party.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, and you got to compete with that. And you know the kind of coaching and development you're going to get on a Brent Pry defense, right? And you know what you're getting out of James Franklin. It's going to be tough for Matt Campbell up at Penn State, man. I think Penn State fans, I'll remain. I'll try to be up. No, I ain't being. Got to keep it real. I think y'all bit off more than y'all could chew. I think y'all complained y'all way into a bad situation up there at Penn State. I honestly do. Now, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But I think y'all have really cried yourself into a bad situation. But I mean, I'll say this, right? Sometimes change is needed. But and it may work out in their favor, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen today. Now, he said, damn right. He said Campbell's soup was a mistake for coach. I get it. I get it, bro. I get you.
Good.
I get you. Now, will Oklahoma State rebound? Right now, Oklahoma State kind of had a they had a bad season the past 2 seasons, right? They were just awful. They were just the worst one, probably one of the worst teams in college football. That had that turnaround. Mike Gundy and them, it just looked bad, right? Even having
Mike Gundy didn't want to spend that money.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? But now they got Eric Morris. You have Eric Morris being the head coach up there, him bringing his entire North Texas team up there to Oklahoma State. So essentially that is the American Athletic North Texas team and Oklahoma State playing in the Big 12, right? But Oklahoma State, it's, you could say it's a strange story that's in college football, but I think when you look at what they used to have there at that program, they used to have consistency. They had toughness. They had seasons where nobody wanted to really see them. They didn't want to go into Stillwater, Oklahoma, right?
A few years back, you don't want to go play them in the latter half of the season. A few years back, I completely understand what you're saying.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but now they don't even have that. They didn't have an identity offensively, defensively, or anything. And I think like what Eric Morris is brought in to do, he's an offensive-minded coach. So I guess he's supposed to bring the structure and the explosiveness to the offense to where they're going to score a lot of touchdowns, right? And Drew Messemaker, the quarterback that he brought up from North Texas, he's one of the most important players in that entire rebuild that's going on over there. I'm not going to knock that, right? I'm not going to forget about that. Like, and I don't know if you could trust that, right? And we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, but don't expect the magic to happen overnight. But hey, a lot of people got them ranked number in the top 25 or right outside of the top 25 DP. I mean, right there, bro. Have you seen some of these polls?
Honestly, Chubb, man, it's probably giving him a lot of hype because he what he did at North Texas last year, man. They went 11-2 at North Texas, but that was G6. But he's an over 500 career coach. He's 46-34 as a head coach over 11 seasons, man. And you have no choice but to go up from a 1-11 season. Like,
right?
That's boys went 1-11 last year, just straight pain freak last year, brother. Like,
facts.
And what I'm more impressed about, what I will say about Oklahoma State, I feel like this running game that they were going to bring to the Big 12 is going to be interesting. Caleb Hawkins, over a 1,400-yard rusher with 25 rushing touchdowns last year. And they bringing Yoel Adobe, you feel me? If he's healthy, he's going to bring something to the table. He rushed for 1,000 yards at one point in his college football career. Yep. But the main question with Oklahoma State is the defense. Are they going to be able to get pressure on people? Are they going to be able to start the run? Or is we just going to have a whole bunch of games that's a shootout? And y'all depending on Drew Messemaker to slinging the rock around the field, and y'all going to try to run the ball. So we're going to see, man. But they have no choice but to get better than 1-11.
I don't really. We kind of took a. That's a fact. We kind of took a look at their scores from last season. I think in one of our other shows we did. I can't remember if we did or not. I feel like we have. Because the defense wasn't there last. It just wasn't there with them. And they brought in, their entire defense. There's like their entire offense, their entire defense, right? It's just North Texas. That's just, and guys that they brought in from the transfer portal. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But I say what gives them the grace is being in the Big 12, right? You agree with that, right? You agree with that part. That's what gives them the grace. But Eric Morris needs to come in, establish the offensive identity immediately, right? I don't really think that Oklahoma State has to come into the Big 12 and win. They got to win more than one game. You know what I mean? I think a 6-6 season will be a successful season for Eric Morris and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And here's why, because I feel like that same way, kind of how I feel towards Colorado, right? The identity, bringing in a new identity, letting them know that we're moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? We're running the ball. We got a stable quarterback. He's a young quarterback, so he's going to actually help grow with this rebuild that they're going on. Because I think he's only in his sophomore season. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong with that. But Drew Messemaker's development could determine the speed of this whole rebuild, right? Oklahoma State doesn't need to have a superstar quarterback. It needs to have dependable quarterback play. And I think the portal can repair some of the depth that they're missing out there, right? right? You know what I'm saying? Some of the pieces that they're missing so they can go there. Like in the Big 12, the parity that goes along in that with that rebuilding a program is faster towards the how do I say this? Like it's moving faster towards the path that they need to go on to succeed, right? The path to succeed. Like bowl eligibility would represent
I
like
can easily see them getting 8 wins, Chubb, though. The
you know
schedule
what I
ain't
mean?
too crazy, man.
You know what I mean? So I mean that's a successful season for them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I can
So
easily see them getting 8 or 9 wins.
I think 8 wins on this schedule would be nice, right? It would be nice. But we have to remember too though that I think this year is more of a fill out year for them. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about Oklahoma State. I feel like they have to fill these teams out and get this Big 12 experience. It's not a huge jump. It's not a huge jump. It's just not, because a lot of these teams were built from the same conference that they came from. Yeah. And they did play at an elite level, right? They did. I'm not.
You bring a majority of your roster with you, so it ain't like you got to retake the offensive game plan or nothing like that. It's just more so what the defense is going to do in a smaller step up in competition, I would say. Because, you know, I just ain't going to say, you feel me, Houston going to be a slouch for them, or Texas Tech going to be a slouch for them, you feel me? Right. And, you know, that Oregon game going to tell us a lot, though. If they go out there and compete with Oregon, hey, you might be talking about 9 or 10 wins. They compete with Oregon. But if they go out there and get slaughter sauce, hey, we don't know. You feel me? It might be, 7-5, 6-6, like you said.
Yeah, like and that's not a bad thing for them. I don't think that's a bad thing for Oklahoma. But the fans, like, so before any Oklahoma State fans even get worried about being, I don't know if they're gonna be fair again right off the bat, right? People want them to. There's a lot of these mainstream media pundits like ourselves that really want them to become respected again in the Big 12. They want them to get back to the status, and Eric Morris is going to bring that. But like, what DP? How many wins do they have to get Oklahoma State in order for Eric Morris's first season at Oklahoma State to be a success?
Oh, me personally, like, for a success to me with this schedule, 8 to 9 wins would be a success, honestly, man. Because the schedule ain't that tough, and I feel like they could be a lot better than 6-6 just because of what he's bringing with them. He's bringing his former team that he just won 11 games with. So these guys, they got some kind of chemistry of playing with each other. It's going to be all about the defense. What will the defense do when it comes to playing, a step up in competition? So and then we don't know what teams like Iowa State gonna look like, because they they got a whole new regime going on over there. And Kansas State, they got to bounce back because they were looking, Buffalo last season. So we shall see. And even Kansas, we don't know what Kansas is going to look like this upcoming season.
That's a fact. You don't. I mean, like, obviously, I've been looking into the Big 12 and looking at all of the Big 12. I don't know, like, Iowa State, they're going to get some wins that people ain't going to think they're going. I don't think they're going to be a 1-11 team.
No, I don't think that neither.
I don't think they're gonna be a 1-11 team at all, even with all those new guys that's in there. To be honest, Kansas, I don't know if Kansas is gonna have a 7-win season. I think honestly, I think
lost a lot.
Yeah, they have. I think they'll probably be one of the bottom tier teams in the Big 12. I actually think going to West Virginia for them and seeing what they do with their first Big 12 matchup in week 4 is actually going to be the real test for them. I mean, playing Oregon, you're going to be able to see what they got. And I get that, D. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, because I agree with that, seeing what they can do against Oregon.
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to win, but if they look competitive against Oregon, that'll tell us a lot.
The important part is, if you can't keep up with Oregon, you better sit your starters, because being healthy and going through this Big 12 season is more important than getting that win versus a team who's arguably a national championship favorite this year, right? They got a lot of NFL talent on the Oregon Ducks. So, I mean, I don't know if it's wise to even, I hate to sound like that, like you just quitting the game, but would you agree it coming out that game healthy is more important than trying to compete? If you're getting blown out,
man,
what do you do if you're a coach?
I'm about to say, Chubb, go out there and compete. But if it start getting ugly, yeah, you better take this play out, brother.
Right.
if it start looking ugly, you might as well say, save it for the later, save it for the conference.
Yeah.
But if you going out there and you in a battle, put on the show, man. Go all out. Cause then we're gonna have some questions about Oregon if you take them to the wire. You feel me? Then the nation gonna be like, what's going on with Oregon? Oklahoma State just got a little new coach, some players over there, and they competing with y'all. And these players come from North Texas,
right?
So we shall see, man. We shall see.
He said 89 when them folks throwing the parade. Big 12 is like a dollar store conference. He said, what can you get with $5? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this man one is hilarious.
Like one, like I don't necessarily disagree with you with that. And here's why, right? This is why. Because when the Big 12 is playing their bowl games, a lot of bowl games don't matter to a lot of us out there, but they're expanding the playoffs because they want bowl games to matter, right? They want the revenue off of it. They want the bowl games to matter again, because when we had the BCS back in the BCS days, every bowl game meant something. It meant something to go to your bowl game, play it, and win it, no matter what it was, right? Now, the Big 12's bowl games record be actually better than a lot of the other conferences. So I'm just saying.
Oh man, half of them even though you need to go out there and compete regardless, but once you get to the other bowl games, not New Year's Six bowls, a lot of those players be getting ready for the tryout. They be sitting out, man.
I'm just saying, but where all that depth at? You know what I mean? Where all that talking, where all these all that recruiting that they be doing, all these coaches.
Now see, Chubb, with the depth situation, the depth ain't like it used to be. You feel me? That's why the SEC probably ain't been dominating with the national championship that they once was. They can't keep the same depth. The depth getting more spread out. But you see what we see when the Big 12 get in New Year's Six bowls, what be happening to them? You feel me? BYU, Texas Tech. You feel me? Even one thing I say, TCU put on this, they represented that year. Sonny Dykes them. Yeah, but when they made it to the Natty, them boys eating chicken wings at halftime, man.
Yeah, you fat. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. Now look, I don't disagree with that, because that's what I use. Like you can't sit there and say that. Like, and that's where I go back to sometimes saying, like, the Big 12 is what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not no elite conference. You don't have to be elite in the Big 12. You can be as bad as bad. You could be a mediocre team. You need to have between letting up 150, 160 yards a game on the ground in the Big 12 and be able to run the ball effectively, and you're going to have a good 7-win season, period.
The reason I don't mind, I like the Big 12 because it's a lot of parity in the Big 12. You never know what you're gonna get, because most of the teams are like on the same, especially since Oklahoma and Texas left. A lot of the teams are pretty much on the same level, unless you go and spin that bag like Texas Tech did. And we're gonna get on Texas Tech a little later too, you feel me? Because what they got going on from what I heard and what I'm seeing, you feel me?
Oh yeah, we out here for a minute now. Now I don't know if you heard about this, D. It's been a group of NFL players and rookies have been granted a temporary restraining order, a TRO, by a Louisiana judge, allowing them to leave NFL training camps and enter the NCAA transfer portal to return to college football. Have you seen any of this? Have you heard about any of this?
I've been hearing, man, and one player, boy, he hopped on the stick real quick, man. Pause.
So let's go ahead and let's see it. So Marcus Freeman, too late for Notre Dame to add players who get the 5th year eligibility. An NFL player at LSU, a legal loophole, college football bizarre, eligibility fight is getting crazy. Ex-Ole Miss tight end DeQuan Wright becomes the first NFL player to enter the transfer portal. There was a guy who actually, I think he had I can't remember who was it. I was about
to say, man, it's reports right now, CBS Sports reporting that Thomas Castellanos is, getting reported to be going to Texas Tech. We don't know 100%. But it's been reports. CBS Sports don't report it on it. Now, if he go there, Texas Tech might look a little bit more promising, but at the same time, I ain't gonna trust them when they play the big dog.
Listen, who y'all, and that's crazy you say that, right? So let's talk about that. Let's hold up. Let's dissect that because it goes
Coach Hayes, what it do? Coach Hayes in the building, Chubb.
What's up, Coach Hayes? What's going on? What's
what
going
it do,
on,
baby?
Man? What's up? I see you over there. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I'm sitting here and we got to dissect that a little bit, D. We have to because that's crazy, bro. That is crazy work. How much do they really think and how much faith do they really have in their quarterback, Will Hammond, right? If they was willing to take somebody who broke the gambling rule to bring back, and now they want to go get Thomas Castellano, who was in the NFL, to come play on their team. So what is really going on at Texas Tech, bruh? Let's talk about that a little bit.
You know what's funny about that? Because once they wasn't able to get Brandon Sorsby out here and they saying they was confident in the backup quarterback, hey, we're gonna ride out with him. We're gonna rock out what we got. Our roster, very competitive. But soon as old Tommy get available, y'all must be broke y'all fingers trying to dial that button to hit that man up. Oh yeah, 5th year, Tommy Castellano. Hey, what you doing? You feel me? Like, come on, man. So you couldn't be that confident in your quarterback that you had when you couldn't get Sorsby on the job.
Bruh, like that's That's what I'm saying. I don't know, like we're so you want to go get Thomas Castellanos. Texas Tech, I don't have. That's why I said from the beginning, I was like, look, they going after Brendan Sorsby. And I said this, D. Did I not say that, D? I was like, they don't have faith in their quarterback. I said that. They want to keep going after Brendan Sorsby for some reason, to take all of that with it and everything else. And now you're hearing the Thomas Castellanos thing. That's why I think, and I'm staying strongly with BYU. I think BYU is the top team in the Big 12, and you can't tell me otherwise. I think BYU got it. They have the most, because they got a solid, consistent base going over there with Kalani Sitake. He got his quarterback returning. I know he missing Jack Kelly, the linebacker that went on to the NFL. But Kalani Sitake did a good-ass job recruiting and everything else. I know Morgan Scaley. You could say Utah. I can hear an argument for that, but BYU is the favorite for me. I don't think Texas Tech is going to be able to get the job done. Now, they may out-talent a lot of other player teams, and that's where they should win at because they have just more talent, right? And they should be able to put up some good fights and everything, some good games with their talent, because they do got more talent than a lot of the other Big 12 teams, but I don't know with them. I don't know. I don't have the faith. But back to this NFL topic, right? How do you feel about an NFL player? And I think I got him pulled up there. His name was, I think he got 2 sacks. Jack Pryburn had 2 sacks with the Buccaneers in a preseason debut game and is thinking about going back to college football. What do you think about that, D?
I'm gonna be real, man. I ain't too mad at it, just for the simple fact, give these young men an opportunity to make more money, dog.
There you go.
Because it ain't no guarantee you're gonna make the cut. You're gonna make that NFL roster. It's tough to make it to the NFL. A lot of people know that, and even sometimes the NFL be more so about politics than skill level. So if you got an opportunity, go play another year of college football, get that check, get that money, and take care of yourself and put something up for yourself just in case you. And then too, you might go to college the 5th year, ball out, and get a higher draft grade. Yep. So you never know, man. So I'm not mad at it. Honestly, I ain't gonna hate on it, man. Yeah, go get that money, man.
At all. I ain't mad. Look, hey, you said it best, dog. But I'm gonna say it with my chest. I'm about to bring a little energy to this because. Listen, college football players been taking a lot from these coaches for a long time. See, back before the NIL started, you had to do whatever the coach told you had to do. And they did it. And they did it. They did everything they had to do, right? They had to take everything with it. They was throwing bread out there to them 5-star athletes. They was. They was, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Now the tables is turned a little bit, though, right? So if you could play if you can play in the NFL, I don't care how old you is. If you got the eligibility to go back to college football and you have the ability to play the game, go and get this bag that they got for you out there. Stop playing with me. I cannot stand these them people. Like, look, to each his own. We all got our own opinion. But when you one of them old guys out there that be like, no, stay in the NFL. They you know what I mean? That's what's wrong with today's society. You soft, like, what? Get that bag. You crazy?
I wouldn't call
get that bag.
Get that money,
bag, bro. Get your money, young man. Get that bread. You know what I'm saying? The players been putting up in this meat market for a long time. And it be the same people out there screaming, oh, these players is this. But then you turn around and talk about how the NFL used to be a meat market and all that. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Let me say that, but that's what she said. But like, yeah, like, you know, you talk about that and now you want to talk. Get your paper. Get your paper, dog. Get it all. You know what I'm saying? Get everything that you can get. And if you, and like you said, D, to piggyback off what you said, the NFL stand for not for long. You do not have a guarantee because you got 2 sacks in the preseason game that's the team who's going to sign you on that practice squad or not. And a practice squad paycheck is totally different than going back to college and getting $6 to $10 million to play one season. You feel me?
If you're good enough to make it to the league, you know, that's going to be more valuable to a college university than, you know, an NFL team. They ain't worried about no preseason sacks. Because, you know, you playing preseason game to get other guys fighting for a job compared to college. You an older player, you got a lot more experience, and you was at least good enough to get a chance to be on the NFL roster.
D, that bag, can you imagine that bag that they about to throw out in D? That bag they about to throw out in dog? Dog, that bag, man, it's about like, because what you just said, if you're his agent, I'm playing his agent, right? And you be the athletic director. Oh, yeah. I'm his agent. How you doing, sir? I'm Chubbs. I'm representing Mr. Jack Pryburn. Yeah, linebacker, edge rusher, coming there. Now go ahead, D. What you say to me? You got questions? You the AD?
Man, all I want to know is how much. How much you need to get here, buddy? We lacking on the defensive line. We seen the spring, we seen the fall camp, and I was begging to have a second spring portal. But guess what? Y'all don't gave it to us, baby, and we needed it. So how much? Name your price so I can write the check and get you here.
Well, the price. The price just went up. The price went up for Jack Pryburn. He's recently played in the NFL. As you know, in his debut in the NFL preseason game, he was able to get 2 sacks. 2 sacks equated in the NFL with all those elite 1%er guys that's on the field right now. So the numbers that I'm looking at here, let me do my calculations correctly. We're looking at one season, right? Do you want to talk incentives and bonus, sir? Oh, okay. That's not in there. All right. We're looking at $10 to $15 million. They pay that, man. They give him that for a season. Come on, dog. They give him something for a season. That bag is gonna be big.
I ain't gonna lie, 10, 15 million.
For an age in the NFL, I mean, yeah, that might be a
start to stay in the league, but he ain't no quarterback.
That might be a stretch.
Yeah, you ain't no quarterback, boy. We gonna pass. Let me stop.
But the edge rusher is just as the edge rusher, the guy rushing to the quarterback, is just as important as the quarterback, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. He got to rush the quarterback. They get paid.
All I'm saying, you're going to set the market kind of super duper high.
No, but we negotiating. We negotiating. If I say 10, 15 million, where you going at next?
I say 5, maybe 6, 7. You feel me? Well, you ain't gonna get 5 million as a practice squad player.
We could meet in the middle and go 7 for 1 year. Bow. Deal. Let me call. You got your deal, Mr. AD. Let me call Jack Pryburn right now. Jack, I got your money, baby. We're in the game. Get your shit packed and get rolling, buddy.
Oh, man. Wow.
Oh, man. No, I'm just saying, bro. Sometimes you just got, I'm just saying, like, it is what it is, though, bro. That's how it roll. That's how it go, right? I don't know, but that's a lot of bread. So, yeah, I don't have a problem. And we're talking about this and closing out on this subject. I don't have a problem with these guys that's from the NFL going down to college football. If they could do that, then do it. You know what I mean? If the league don't want them no more because they went to go get some money, so be it. It is what it is. They was just looked at as probably being a debt piece, a developmental piece anyway on the NFL roster. So if any guy on the NFL roster right now that's a developmental guy that's sitting there making that $100,000 can go down to the college level right now if they're 26, 27 years old and go and get them $7 million for 1 year, they're doing it. And you're crazy if you're not doing it. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say on it. You got anything else, D?
Nah, I'm cool, man. I'm just saying, get your money, man. If you can get your money while you can.
Yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, now, now, all right. Colorado, right?
News coming, Chubb. I ain't liking what I'm hearing.
You ain't liking what you hearing? You go first. Then you go ahead and you go first. Why are you not hearing, man?
What I'm the reason I'm not liking what I'm hearing because I'm hearing Coach Prime is drawing heavy backlash for enforcing extreme media and attendee restrictions during open practices. No reporting, no notes. What you hiding, Coach? What you hiding?
Oh man,
I know. In FSU, you feel me? They hide stuff because they looking real ugly up there in Tallahassee. So if Dion doing this, you gotta be hiding something. You want nobody to talk about your program. You want nobody to write no notes. And you saying you're gonna take media credentials if you do leak something out? Coach Prime, it smell real funky.
Well, I hear you with that. I feel you on that. But the biggest difference is what Colorado appears to have attacked all their weaknesses. They attacked all their weaknesses and going to go and get veteran guys. He didn't go and just go get big bodies this time. He went and got guys who have actual production and snap on the field and experience on the football field, whether it's from the FCS level or the Group of 5 level. But and simply adding these guys and not just recognizing names, I would say that that's a step up from what he was doing last year, right? That's something better. Now, all the people out there that's in doubt, I totally understand that because, like, we have been kind of shell shocked. We have been, looking at the team in the past, and I know in college football that's what you look at. I've learned in college football you got to look at the past. However, the past is changing. The game is changing. The college football game is evolving. But when you're looking at coaches, you have to look at their past and what they have been doing at the present location of what they're doing, right? And I understand why a lot of people have their doubts and everything, but the Buffaloes, they brought in another massive transfer group. Then that's to some people that might be a red flag. They've added talent at the receiver position, the running back position, the offensive line, everywhere. You know what I mean? Throughout the defense and everything. And there's question marks on the defense. Brennan Marion bringing in a go-go. I think I've talked about that a little bit, but I'm just kind of just briefly talking about this. The offense is built around.
Question marks to me, man. The offensive line I feel like is undersized compared to some elite programs. And since Coach Prime has been there, they have averaged 3.8 yards per run design play since Prime took office, man. One of the lowest in Power 4 football. Right. You can't run the ball. If you can't protect the quarterback, it's gonna be trouble.
I think when we go into this, right, the offensive line, I think is going to be solid, right? I think you bring in a guy like Demetrius Hunter from Houston with experience, used to be throw a snap for Connor Wegman and did good, right? Connor Wegman like running right up, paws off his behind, but that's what she said. And he liked doing that. And Dean Connors liked it, the guy too. And we got a couple of pieces in there. There's a couple of inexperienced guys that's on the offensive line that need to get some time in there. But don't ask Juju to be a Shador 2.0. I don't think a lot of Colorado fans right now should be thinking about Juju being Shador Sanders 2.0. I don't think that's fitting for him. I don't think that's a fair expectation for him. I think he just let him become Julian Lewis 1.0. Let him do that. Let him define the reads. Let him learn the playbook. You know what I'm saying? Give him a good running game. Give him movement. Give him good blocks. You know what I'm saying? Give him consistency on the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Protect him. Give him easy completions in the offense. You know what I'm saying? The easy reads. I think the most important thing is don't make his responsibility for rescuing the offense on every third down. Don't get caught in those situations. And then I think that they can be successful on the field. And there is questions like, will they block? Will Colorado block for Julian Lewis? You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of things that goes into the go-go because you can have the receivers. We can have Richard Young. We can have DeAndre Moore. We can have Juju. But if we can't consistently win up front, and I think that we will win up front, then we're going to have a conversation that we had before, right? And going back to the past. And like you're saying, D, you know what I mean? And I get it from y'all talking about from the past. But me, I'm optimistic this year. And I feel like the changes have been made because you're bringing in guys who develop that talent and guys who are working with guys. I give Andre Gerard the benefit of the doubt. He's a highly respected guy in his profession right now. I hear a lot of pros talking about Andre Gerard and liking what he's done with the Houston Roughnecks and the UFL. And I would argue with anybody that that's kind of the college level right there. So I kind of like what's going on. The defense with Chris Moore, is there more athleticism, more bodies, and all that type of deal like that? I get that. You know, it is the defensive line there. The three technique or the nose tackle, defensive tackle position is a red flag for me. But I do think Malachi Brown, and I'm hoping Malachi Brown comes in and he's able to solidify that. Having and getting Ezra Christian could be huge for the Colorado Buffaloes in 2026, coming off the edge and being able to help with some of that pressure off the edge, off the line. But we got to be able to finish the drives, keep the teams backed up, and be able to stop the run with these three linebackers that we went and got that have over 100 tackles. And Tafu from Texas, Tyler Martinez from New Mexico State, and bringing in Gideon Lampert from Bowling Green is very important. But you need more than just linebackers. You got to have that play at that nose tackle position in order to stop the run. And I think that we'll be able to do it, but that's just me. And I don't blame it.
Chubb, man, listen, the pressure cooker is gonna be on if he do not perform those first 1, 2, 3 games. Because the media, you already treating the media bad. You don't want them to take no notes. You don't want them to talk about nothing that's going on in practice. So when game day come, the whole world gonna see you. So Dion, you ain't gonna be able to hide it from the whole world and the cameras. So you go out there looking like last year. You go out there and it look ugly against Brett Key and Georgia Tech. It's gonna be some pressure cook questions that they gonna ask Coach Prime, and you can't be like, I don't want to talk about that, and you can't be trying to brush off the media when they in the reporters and stuff when they trying to ask you these tough questions. They gonna want some answers, and you gonna have to give them to them, Coach. We don't want to hear no excuses because it's year 4 now, year 5 now, Chubb. Hey. The pressure cooker is gonna be on, man. The schedule, I feel like the schedule is a little tough also. So we gonna see, man. It's gonna see.
I feel, you know, we talk about the schedule. A lot of people, like, the thing is that gets me is a lot of people are stuck at that 6-6 range, right? People are saying 6-6. People don't want to say 4 games. Just come out and say the 4. If you only think they're gonna get 4, say 4. I feel like 6-6 is saying I don't know, and I'm hedging. And if you don't know,
I'm giving them 5,
and that's fine. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's cool. That's fine. That's fine. I ain't even mad at you. You know why? You know why I respect that 5? Because you ain't saying 6-6. You ain't cutting 50-50. You're not staying on the fence about it, right? You're not stuck on the fence. You didn't even climb the joint. You was like, I ain't even going over there with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't climbing up the fence. I'm staying right here on this side. Y'all can go over there and do what you need to do. You can climb up the fence down. I'm staying right here. You know what I mean? And that's fine. That's why I respect it, D. That's why I respect it. You feel me? Because, like, that whole 6-6 thing, and this game is going to swing this way and swing that way. Like, no. Like, we talking about the Big 12. And I think that's another thing that people forget. It's the Big 12. It's the Big 12. You see, we say that for some teams, right? And then we'll go and say, well, they can't be successful here. But the Big 12 representative in the playoffs get blown out. So what does that say? And that's the team that had more NFL talent on it than any of the teams in the Big 12. So what does that have to say about the entire conference? Like I said, I think that if they're able and people and run it, stopping the run is important.
Going hard.
Stopping the run is important, right? 3-9, that's fine. I'm cool. I respect 3-9. I respect you saying 3-9. You know why I respect it, Juan? Because you didn't say 6-6. You ain't had it. You said 3-9. You know what I mean? And I respect that. You feel me? I do. I'll take that and I'll respect that because you didn't say 6-6. You ain't saying it's gonna swing this way. But what's gonna happen when they are successful though? You know what I mean? That's the problem.
I give them their props. They are successful.
You know what I mean? Because stopping the run is important in college football. But the part that people leave out and the part that people won't talk about is being successful running the ball also matters in college football. And if I pulled up schedules and if I pulled up team records right now and look at the average yards that they had, matter of fact, let's do that real quick because before and we're gonna get off this Colorado topic because I done talked about it so much. And plus, I got a whole show dedicated to that, and we got other topics to get on. So I just want to kind of look through the stats real quick and look at some of these teams and throughout college football that wind up being 6-6, 7-5. You know what I mean? Or 8-4 season. Let's see where their record is when stopping the run. Like, because and that'll give you a barometer of where they need to be at, right? I mean, is that fair or not fair, D? I mean, I just want to take a look at it real quick. Do you mind?
You can, yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, I mind. Okay, all right. NCAA stats. Okay, I don't know if y'all mind. I just want to take a look at that real quick because I ain't do it, and it's good to do it live. So let's go ahead and let's do it live. Let's do it live. Oh. Nope. It ain't gonna let me do it live. Oh, yeah, it is. You there, D?
I'm here.
Okay.
No, I ain't know I ain't know what you're looking at. I was just saying I'm still here.
Okay, all right. Yeah, right here. So we right here. Want to look at the teams though. Yeah, I want to see the team stats. I don't want to see the
the only way, the best way I know to go to the team stats is NCAA.com.
Okay, NCAA.com. Okay,
yeah, you should be able to get the stats from there.
Okay,
like
yeah,
averages and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's what I want to see, right? You know what I mean? That's what we want to take a look at. And I'm almost sure that I'm on it. You know what I mean? But I just want to make sure because you don't have to be stopping everybody. I know dang on, they ain't got to hold people to 100 yards rushing a game. You know what I mean? They ain't got to hold people to, 125 yards a game. You know what I mean? I think, like I said, I think the sweet spot is between 150, 160, 100, maybe I even go 170, 150, 170 yards a game rushing and being able to run the ball.
Man. Running backs love to see you on the schedule. I'm telling you, and I see, and there's 3 of them right now: Texas Tech, Utah, Oklahoma State, and Kansas State. They're gonna be licking their chops when they see Colorado on the schedule because they know they have
identity. Identity. They don't have an identity right now, and we know that, and we know they don't have one right now. But that's okay. That's okay though. They will have one. They will have one, and it's coming up soon.
When you go to NCAA stats, you got to make sure you put NCAA football stats.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
They're going to pull up all sports. Yeah, there you go right there on the thing.
Right here. All right. Yeah. Let's make sure that because boy, that's I'm ESPN, telling y'all, boy, y'all
on the bottom. That's ESPN. Got the one on the bottom.
Boy, y'all gonna hate me this next year. Boy, y'all gonna hate me. Boy, if they successful.
There you go. And at the top, you can change from player to team.
Right here. Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Right here. All right. Team.
Yeah, they got everything on that.
Okay. So what we want to look at again? What was we looking at, D?
Rushing yards.
Rushing yards allowed, right?
If you're going to allow Colorado, we're gonna have to go probably to the back page. Let's go to rushing offense.
Rushing offense. All right.
You trying to look at some of the teams that they playing against this year?
Nah, I just want to get a feel for what I just want to see if I was right with what I was saying because that's how I feel. I mean,
no, I'm saying you looking for rushing yards allowed or what each team had rush average last year.
Rushing yards allowed.
Okay, yeah, just go to rushing yards allowed. It should be on a tab for that.
I thought it was, but I don't see
it. Passed it. You got to go. It's alphabetical order.
Okay.
Just keep going down. Yeah.
Okay.
Rushing defense.
Okay. Rushing defense. Okay. There we are. Rushing defense. Okay.
No, you see that you on there.
The U, yeah, we see the U on there. Y'all number 5 though, right?
We number 6.
Number 6.
We might well say
like
5. That James Madison, they ain't play nobody. So yeah,
they were
5.
They were holding people to that. So all right. So
yeah, Colorado, you might well keep scrolling. Go to the page 3.
Nah, I don't want to see. Okay, so Iowa State, what kind of season they had last year? Iowa State, what's their record from last year? What was their record last year? Iowa State, I know they wasn't that good, but what was their record last year?
I can look it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can look it up for you right now.
Southern Cal, they was like USC was letting up 143 yards per game last season.
That's what I told you. That's my boy.
Penn State let up 142 yards a game.
Yeah, Iowa State, they finished 8-4 last year.
Okay, 8-4. Okay, Duke let up 147, 150 on the ground last year. Tennessee let up
66.
Tennessee let up 150 on the ground last year. Virginia Tech did also. Buffalo, they had a nice team. They let up 157 in their conference last year.
I'll tell you right now.
Shit! Oh my God! I didn't know that. Georgia Tech let up 164 last year. Now, what I'm trying to do here, D, is see what I'm saying. The sweet spot. You don't have to stop the run completely. You have to be able to keep a team under a certain amount and run the ball effectively. See, we talk about stopping the run, but running the ball effectively also helps that too, right? Because it helps keep the other team's opposing defense on the field, and they also get tired. So, but that never comes up. But we can use that, but that's college football's recipe, period, point blank. Now, I'm not just talking about Colorado in this conversation. I'm talking about just college football. And when I'm bringing this in, because we looking at teams who have let up 100, between 150, 170 yards per game.
These are averages.
Right. What you say now?
I say these averages, like average per game.
Right. Average per game. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Average per game. But I'm just saying that as long as you can keep your average per game within that range, I think you'll be all right throughout the season. But that's just all for all of college football. See, that's why I'm just trying to take Colorado out of it and then bring, because that's where they need to be at. That's where CU needs to be. I believe CU needs to be they need to allow between 150 to 170 yards per game, and I think they'll be fine if they run the ball effectively.
Last year, them folks was 133rd. That's second to last. So if they can get, which I don't think they get top 50, they can get in the 80s, maybe it'll look a little better.
If they could get like Kansas, with the Kansas, they won 7 games last year. They let up 173 on the ground last year, right?
Ooh, Lord,
and they won 7 last year, right?
CU was giving up 222 a game last year, Chubb.
Yeah, I feel that, but I'm not. That's not what I'm. That's you moving the goalposts. You moving the goalposts. You took the goalpost here and took it way over there, D. I'm talking about what is a successful defense. We talk about stopping the run, but we're not talking about how when they success for them to be successful in the
defense for the Big 12. I'm gonna put it in that range frame.
Okay.
I would say since Iowa State went 8-4 with the 50 ranked defense, rush defense, you feel me? I guess you got to at least be in the top 50 in the Big 12. At least go 8-4, at least, and that all depends on how the other schools looking. Because Iowa State last year, they was average giving up 138, which is really not a crazy number. 138 yards per game ain't too crazy.
No, that ain't too bad.
Ain't too crazy.
Ain't too bad. I mean, Cal was a good team. And they let up 150 yards a game. So that's where I'm at with it. That's all I'm saying. Giving up between 150, 170 yards per game and being able to run the ball effectively, I think Colorado will be fine. If they could keep their average this year in between that number and being able to run the ball effectively, I think they'll be fine. I mean, it's proven in college football. For however long, whether you're a college football historian or anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Like, But and a lot of that helps. Like I said, if you can keep the other team's offense off the field by running the ball effectively, then you ain't got to worry about stopping the run. If you can run the ball effectively, right?
Well, what it was that on rushing offense last year? Go to their rushing offense.
They didn't run the ball last. They didn't run the ball effectively last year. We know that. You know what I mean? They were ranked bad last year, but I don't see what that has to do with 2026.
Shoot, it might be a lot. If they got worse, he lost one of your best offensive linemen to LSU.
He gone. Jordan Seaton gone. That don't got nothing to do with rushing the ball. They weren't running the ball with Jordan Seaton in there. So what they just going to start just magically running the ball good with Jordan Seaton there?
That's my point.
But they still going around ball. They still going to run the ball because we know that Brandon Marion being there, if that's what Brandon Marion's bringing, his go-go offense. But see, and that's another thing. We go off the pass, but we don't know. So, and that's fine. But if you don't know, then you can't explain it to you. I just would refer y'all to go watch one of my videos.
Season, Colorado was ranked 103rd, averaging 3.5 yards per rush last year, averaging 125 rushing yards a game. They definitely got to get that up. They want to at least win 7 games. They got to get that up.
I think it'll happen. But like I said, I don't knock nobody from having a pass. I don't knock anybody for feeling the way they feel about the pass and wherever they going with that and how they feel about it. But don't be on the fence with your shit. If you're gonna drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. But you know what I mean? I feel like Brandon Marion being there is a difference. It's a change. He's going to run the offense the way he's going to run the offense. I think a lot of people are thinking that Deion is going to get in the way of that, and that's the head coach. And I don't think Deion is going to get in the way of the head of that. I don't think he's going to get in the way. I think he got in the way last year with everything that went on, and that team underachieved tremendously. Last year's team did tremendously. That offense should have been a lot better. That same quarterback, Caden Salter, that they had last year, that was there last year, is now in the CFL putting up 160 rushing yards a game, going crazy. Like, he could have did that in college. He could have definitely did that in the Big 12, but he was used improperly.
And what rushing offense per game, it all depends on your conference also. Because you feel me, Utah, they was the second best as far as rushing, but you got a team like Florida State, they was 11th. Florida State was 11. They went 6-6. So it really all depends on your conference and how they getting down and what conference you in.
He said Colorado needs to blow it up, start over. I think that's what they just did, though, Juan. He just brought in all new players, but I think
they do that every year, Juan.
I think what's going to happen here is right now, me talking about it, it's like, all right, you look crazy, you look weak, you talking about Colorado, you think Colorado going to do this.
You just got
but at the end of the day, though, it's like, I look at college football a lot different, and I'm on this Brandon Marion. I'm trying to tell y'all, if you don't know, then you don't know, right? But if you don't know, then go back and watch and understand. I broke down the offensive line. I broke down the defensive line. I broke down the first Georgia Tech game. I broke down Brandon Marion's offense. Go take a look at the old videos. Go scroll through them. Get your knowledge up. If you don't know, you don't know. But
we gonna see when they play Georgia Tech. We're going to see how all your breakdowns came and come to fruition. When they play Georgia Tech, we going to see.
And we're going to smash. And look, it's either going to be a close game, Colorado win it, or we just take off on Georgia Tech. I'm telling y'all that right now. And people act like Georgia Tech ain't getting no new players. Georgia Tech got new players. They got new players. They got new coaches. They got new change going on there. So that same thing don't apply to them because of Brent Key, right?
Man, Georgia Tech last year was 21st in rushing, averaging 197 yards per game. Colorado go out there with that bullseye, giving up over 200.
Hold up, though. This is a fact, though. Georgia Tech also was 88th in stopping the run in the country with giving up 164 yards a game.
Luckily, they playing a team that can't run the ball. Average 2.5 yards per carry.
Who Georgia Tech couldn't run the ball?
No, Colorado. Georgia Tech ain't gonna have a tough time like Colorado have a tough time. What I feel like just looking at the numbers from last, but we going out but last year.
But see that, all right. So even if you want to, but they were a good team running the ball. Georgia Tech were they not? Were they running?
Yeah,
the
they were pretty good running the ball, stopping the run, not so much.
There you go.
Colorado's mad at both.
But they won't be though. That's what I'm saying though. They won't be. They were. You talking about last year. I'm talking about this year. That has nothing to do. Last year, 33 and that has nothing to do with that. That's exactly my point. What you just said with Georgia Tech, that's exactly the point I'm making. Exact point. Georgia Tech was able to run the ball effectively and keep the other team's offense off the field, and they finished pretty good. And they had the 88th run-stopping defense in the country. That's my point. If Colorado can get there to 88 and run the ball effectively, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. That's what I'm saying.
It all depends on conference.
They did that in the ACC. So what? So what? Now in the Big 12? Here we go. Here we go again with that. That same excuse. The conference, the Big 12, that conference where what? Where anybody goes into the playoffs and gets BTA. Right?
I'm trying to see what Georgia Tech record was last
Stop
year.
the cap.
Come on, D. Come on, D.
Stop the cap.
Come on, get me.
I'm trying to see their record last year.
Georgia Tech, I think they won 7-8 games last year. Didn't they?
That's the thing. I don't see Colorado doing that.
But that's fine. That's fine.
They went 9-3 last year.
9-3?
They went 9-3 last year.
9-3?
But you poo-pooing on these boys. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not. No, I'm not. They lost a ton. I'm not poo-pooing on them. I think what I'm saying is not translating. Maybe I'm not saying it right. Let me slow down because maybe I'm not saying it correctly. What I'm saying is, in order for Colorado, I think Colorado can be successful if they can have an average of 150 to 170 yards per game rushing. If that's their threshold, right? On defense. And if they're able to run the ball effectively, I still think that they can get through their schedule with the 7 wins that I'm giving them. I think they can get through that. If they're able to do that, that means that they were bottling up some teams and some teams get loose. But if you're able to run the ball effectively, then you keep the other team's offense off the field too. But if you can't, and I agree, Juan, if you can't stop the run, then your offense won't go on the field. And that's exactly my point. If they can run the ball, if we're able to run the ball effectively in this run-first offense, then things can change. But so, I get it.
Looking at the schedule, man, other than Weber State, every game a toss-up, man, with Colorado.
Don't say toss-up. You said 5 games. Don't say toss-up.
Yeah, I'm giving them a toss-up because they might look competitive. You feel me? Like Baylor, I'm not gonna say I got a lot of confidence in Baylor, but I know they got a decent quarterback. So I don't got that much confidence in Northwestern, but I know they might be competitive against Colorado. I ain't that confident in Cincinnati, but I know they're gonna be competitive against Colorado. That's what I mean by 5 and 7. I'm giving y'all a puncher's chance, basically. What I'm saying. I'm giving y'all a puncher's chance in a lot of these games. When you get to Texas Tech, Utah, Oklahoma State,
that's all we need, baby. All we need, baby, is the faith of a mustard seed, baby. That's all we need.
Amen.
That's all we need, bro. That's all we need, bro. You know what I mean? I take that. Like, so my question to y'all is, and everybody out there watching, right? Y'all know I'm a stand on Colorado. I'm a fan, right? So, but what do you need to see out of Colorado this year in order for them, and even if they're not winning, right? But what do you need to see out of Colorado this year to say, okay, they're moving in the right direction?
Me? Well, Chubb, I will say this, man. They got to do the basics of football. They got to be able to block and tackle. If they can block and they can tackle, they got a lot better chance to make a bowl game this upcoming season. They just gotta do the basics of football at this point. You feel me? You know, it's gonna be cool to do the flashy stuff. Yes, we're gonna need to put some points on the board. But at first, they gotta start off with the basics. They just gotta protect their quarterback, block for their running back, and tackle the other team. And that you do that, you feel me? You got positive right there.
I agree. I think I put them on my show improve list. I put Colorado on my show improve list in the conference. And the reason why I put them on the show improve list is because I think we have to show improve. After having a 3-9 season, after having a 9-win season, I think this year and Dion being in his 4th year, we have to show improve. We have to go on the field. We have to prove it. You have to prove bringing in Brennan Marion was the right choice. Bringing in Chris Marv, taking over the defense was the correct choice. Have to prove it. It has to be proven. It's time to show up for Colorado. I can't wait until September 3rd because it's time to show it. You know what I mean? You have to show up. You can't be in year 4. I will say this. We cannot be in year 4 of our head coach and have another losing season. That can't happen. I don't even think 6 games is good enough. I think it has to be a 7-8 win season and on this tough schedule like that, because I think that will represent a major turnaround for me. I mean, but look, I could be different. Things could be worse, right? People say 6-6, right? And that's good enough for them. But I got to say 7, right? It has to, got to show up, got to prove it that bringing in these coaches in your 4th year was the right decision. I will say that. I am not too fanned out to say that part.
Right? My boy Warren say Coach Hayes can coach and run the program better at CU.
Probably.
I believe so. Hey, Chubb, if Coach Hayes was the coach, I'm saying the boy going undefeated.
I think the talent is there. I think the talent is there, right? Like, all the talent is there. I think the coaching is there now. I've looked into these coaches. I've seen what they've done. I went back and I went back in the crates for Chris Marv, right? I looked to see where he started at linebacker himself. He was a much bigger guy then. He lost a lot of weight, but you know, from Mississippi State with the linebackers he had at Mississippi State, he developed some of those guys from to Florida State, you know what I mean, and to Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech, he's gotten better as time went on, but the linebackers that he has worked with and he's developed were some of the best tacklers in the NCAA every year. So, and he not only he got top tacklers now, so I'm assuming and I'm giving it the benefit of doubt that these linebackers in this Chris Marv system is going to show up, because I've done that research and looked it up, and he's very good at developing linebackers, and he got some good guys to work with to start off with now, and that defensive line should help, you know what I mean? So it should help, especially with being in the Big 12. Now, going for a title this year, I don't think that's going to happen, but do I think they can get something?
Shout out, you see what my dog Coach Hayes said. That's real now.
He said Coach Hayes would be in the best players' living room, down vacations and fishing. Let's
go, baby. Let's get on the trail, dog. Let's get on the trail.
I think giving a player a new tablet, with it, send them a tablet saying that I'm recruiting you would be official nowadays. But to each his own, and I can't knock that part of it. I'm only speaking off the football terms and what I got on. So all the recruiting and all that, I don't know. That's not going, I think he done a good job though, recruiting though. I think so. He did a decent job of recruiting nationally, even with not going in people's living room. But if he did go in living rooms, Coach Prime, I think that
I feel like that would make a big difference.
It would jump up. I think recruiting would go to the next level.
Yes.
I think the recruiting for Colorado would go to the next level if Coach Prime actually went to their living rooms and recruited in state better. You know what I mean? Like, those are things I don't disagree with. You know what I mean? Like, see, I'm a fan, but I ain't dumb. I'm slow, but I ain't stupid.
Cause Chubb, honestly, I got a question. You're a 5-star recruit. Your coach don't even want to pull up on you and come visit you at your crib. How would you feel?
You could lose.
And you got other coaches all across the country coming to pull up, sit with you and your moms, eat steak, eat lobster, whatever y'all don't put on the table. He was chilling with y'all, kicking with y'all, hitting you up, and they ain't just sending you a tablet. Who you gonna go to? You gonna go to the coach that's willing to pull up on you and your family.
Mm-hmm. I feel that part of it is something that I think that Coach Prime could do a better job with. I think that a lot of people that are fans, such as me, miss that part of it because it's hard to just take off the fan goggles for a second and analyze and look at the thing, right? And actually look at this from a recruiting and his star level. If you got Dion in your house cooking and your mom's cooking fried chicken for Dion, like that's different, bro.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. That's I don't even know, bro. That's crazy. You know what I mean? You'll have every little kid or not even little kid.
The whole neighborhood trying to come see.
Right, for real.
Through the windows.
The whole neighborhood coming to your door. You know what I mean? That's different. And the impact of that, I think when he really hones in on knowing that and doing that, bro, it would be so much different. But I still think he does a good job at it, but the level can go out through the window. It could go up and up. And with those big guys, you got to do that because when you recruiting big offensive linemen and defensive linemen, right? I don't know. I could be wrong, right? But this is how I analyze it, right? And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, right? If I'm headed down the wrong path. But when you're recruiting an offensive defensive line guy, those guys are always in the heat of the moment in the battle. They're always in the trenches. The most emotional and passionate part of the game is constantly going on with those guys, right? They're recruited at a different level. A lot of those guys got attitude, passion, and emotions running through them regardless. So them are the most emotional football players on the field, period, point blank to me. And I think when you're trying to get those big guys, everybody's going after those guys. Everybody. So you got to try to one up those guys. You know, those guys don't get that shine the way that the running back get, right? Although the coaches know that he blocked and for that running back to get that 2,000-yard season in high school, and he's a five-star offensive lineman, people really don't recognize him out. But if you go prime and you go sit in his living room, man, you're recruiting different, man. It's I think it's like the each and so, like, yeah, I'm finally noticed, and it's different, bro. It's different than recruiting the guys who already got the glamour and the glitz, the running backs, the cornerbacks, the safeties, and the wide receivers. It's totally different. And so I would say that you have to have a more connection with your offense and defensive lineman versus the other positions. Or I could be wrong. I could be
totally you're not wrong with Truckin Chubb. When you a top O lineman or D lineman, everybody's recruiting you. Everybody trying to do something to stand out from the next program to get you to come to their program because they're rare to find a big body guy. You feel me? Everybody's not gonna get that big body guy that's able to block and be very athletic. So you gotta do whatever you can to get those guys to come to your program. But that's your bread and butter, them trenches. That's where it all started at. And Coach Mario Cristobal knew that his players. Mario text 200 times that was on unread for 200 messages, and they finally responded. They finally gave him a chance. You feel me? And he's just persistent. Won't give up. You're gonna have to call police on Mario Cristobal. Say, I need a restraining order on this dude. You won't leave me alone.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. And so I mean, yeah, and I think that it can help. I know that it can help a lot with moving forward. And hopefully when he realizes that, he'll take off for sure. No doubt. But what else do we have on the slate? What else will we talk about?
Got them Canes on there, no Texas.
Okay. Was the tech? Let's go to the Canes. Let's go to the Canes. Let's talk about the Hurricanes.
Already know.
Let's talk about your Hurricanes, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The Hurricanes. Now, my question with the Hurricanes was simply like, can the Hurricanes solidify? Can the Miami Hurricanes capitalize and solidify themselves this season? Because for what I'm hearing, it's national championship or bust for y'all. Am I correct?
Some would say that. Me personally, Chubb, I want to make sure we get there. And how we get there with a stamp on it, we got to win the conference. So I would certainly say there should be no reason why we don't win the conference this year. There's no excuses. You got everything you need. You got all the talent. You got all the money. You got one of the top quarterbacks. Got a top running back room. You got 2 top wide receivers. You got a magnificent defensive line. You got 2 veteran linebackers. And you got straight dogs in the secondary. So there are no excuses why Miami shouldn't win the ACC conference this year. They should be conference champions, dog.
Look, this y'all schedule, right? This y'all schedule. The Notre Dame, huh?
Go ahead and pull it up for people to see it.
Okay.
That's y'all schedule. Now, why you pulling up? I will say, man, about the national media, what the main thing they've been critiquing us on is the offensive line, but that behooves me for the simple fact Mario Cristobal, Coach Mirabal demands so much from the O-line, and Mirabal said himself he has 10 offensive linemen that he is confident in. That's the first and the second string, and most of these guys are 6'8", 6'7", 330 plus, and they gonna get real nasty and physical. We got 2 freshmen, both of them 6'8", 330, looking real promising in practice. So it's gonna get real funky, especially with Darren Mensah. He hasn't been in a situation this promising. He won at Tulane, won a conference championship at Duke. I almost throw up every time I say Duke, man, because you know Manny Diaz over there. But yeah, it's time to do it, baby. It's time.
Now, I will say this, D. I will say this, D, about it. Y'all don't go and spend no damn $10 million on a quarterback, bro.
No. And then I don't even want to win a national championship. We a private program, man. So them numbers be fugazi. You know, they don't tell who get these numbers for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, bro. I don't know how much did Darren Mensah get? How much did Darren Mensah get to go play for Miami?
We don't know. Mario Cristobal don't release this kind of information.
So only thing I could go off is the $10 million that's been reported, right? That's what I could, because that's been reported. The $10 million would be reported. That's what he's getting paid. You getting paid $10 million to play quarterback for this team, and this team largely brought back a lot of guys, and a lot of guys have stuck around. Y'all have a lot of guys who are familiar with this system. I like Miami, and I would say that you damn right. That's what it is. That's y'all was right, and y'all were in the game last year. The schedule, I don't see nobody on the schedule that can hang with Miami right now. I don't see nobody. I don't.
Especially if you don't take care of Bennett. And see, this is the thing with Mario Cristobal, Chubb. Mario has to stop taking his foot off the gas on inferior teams. When you playing against teams that you are better than, you got to just straight up blow them out and keep your foot on the gas. You can't be losing to teams like Louisville, teams like Syracuse, teams like SMU, when you got the better talent and the better roster than those guys, but then go and beat a Texas A&M and beat a Ohio State and beat a Ole Miss and beat a Notre Dame. You got to have your players ready to go each and every Friday, Saturday, Thursday, whenever it's time to line it up, because as a Miami Hurricane fan, we tired of being paper champions, baby. I'm tired of hearing, oh, yeah, Miami got the best roster this offseason, this, that, and the third. Man, go out there and get it done on the field, man. That's what the game won at, on the grass. Let's lace them boots up, put them shoulder pads on, and let's get busy, baby.
I feel that. I feel that, because that's exactly what got to be. Look, that got to be done. It has to be. So that's what I'm saying. So you said you don't feel like national championship or bust, but I feel like that's where I'm at, right? Because, look, getting there, I don't think it's going to be a problem with y'all schedule at all. Even if for some reason that Notre Dame game don't go the way that y'all wanted to go, right?
Not a conference game.
Right, exactly. So, y'all still get into the dance. There's no reason why Miami should not roll through this schedule like it's nothing. There's no reason why. Not a damn reason why. Not with all the players, all the talent that they got on that team, not the coaching, none of that. They have to get there, I feel like. Now, so my thing is, will they capitalize? The question was, will Miami capitalize? Yes.
I'm gonna say yes. We
Yes,
should.
they got to.
I say no excuses. We get to the ACC championship game, we in there. And we definitely need to win it for sure. But we in there for sure. We get to the ACC championship game. We have no choice. The way our schedule set up, like my boy say, weak conference over there, to each his own with the weak conference. Because anytime an ACC team get into the playoffs, they usually make some kind of noise, you feel me?
Right.
Clemson don't did it, you feel me? FS Pool don't did it. You see what Miami did last year when we got up in the playoffs. So we ain't like the Big 12 squad. No shots at Colorado or nothing like that. But we ain't like the Big 12 squads that get in the playoffs, fold. ACC team get in there and they able to compete. You never know, baby. Get your mouthpiece ready and get your money ready. SEC teams, Big 10 teams, because we coming.
Now, y'all capitalized in the playoffs last year. Y'all did that part, but y'all Miami can't. It can't be no accidentally getting in the playoffs. It can't happen. That can't be accidentally getting in because Duke won the conference championship at 8-5, and SMU lost the game to Cal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be that.
Yeah.
You got to be definitive. We getting in there. We handling business. We going
to Kool-Aid on the couch, waiting for our opponent. I feel what you're saying, Chubb. We need to be having a bye, which means we won the conference. We need to be sitting there waiting for our victim. You feel me? Just chilling, waiting for the victim to pull up. And then once it's time to play, I don't care if it's a Texas, or USC, or Georgia, or Bama, or Oregon, Oklahoma, whoever. Come get this smoke. We free smoke, baby. We passing out free smoke all year long, man. Free smoke university.
That's it. So we do feel like they will capitalize. We both feel like Miami will capitalize within this year. We agree with that. Now, another ACC team that I brought up into this, and yes, I'm going to talk about them because when a coach comes out and he talks about, well, yeah, we're playing a non-conference game versus Notre Dame, so they could score 100 points on us, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What are you talking about? First of all, so when you come out and you say things like that, that's going to stick with you for the rest of your career, forever. That's going to always be a meme. That's going to be always ran back. Pat Narduzzi at Pitt, there is no excuse. Is the patience for Pat Narduzzi running out in Pittsburgh? Absolutely, it is. Pittsburgh Panther fans are absolutely tired of being mediocre. They don't got a mediocre pro football. Well, I can't really say that. My Steelers is always getting to the playoffs. We use first round, but getting there. It's time for y'all to make a stamp because y'all getting left behind. And in this new era where these teams are getting picked up in the conference, Pittsburgh going to get left out of it. You might as well drop them down to the G5. What's going on with Pat Narduzzi? These 8 games a year, you win in the first 5-6 games on your schedule, running through this first 7 games, and then you drop in the last 5. That can't happen. That shouldn't happen. You got one of the best athletes coming out of Aliquippa High School named Cameron Lindsay playing the star linebacker position for you. He's been on that team. He stepped up. He will be on that defense starting this year around a lot of guys who local talent. This is probably one of the teams that you finally got up there at Pitt that has a lot of them local guys playing there that wanted to go to Pitt. There's no excuse for Pat Narduzzi to be getting these 8-win seasons in Pittsburgh. It's just not there. Now, the answer that I got is just, is it time for him to go? Like, is it time for Pat Narduzzi to go if he does not get, or I don't even know how to say this because they were a top team, but if they're not even competing at the end of the season as one of the top 3 teams in this conference,
man,
what you think?
Like you said with the Pat Narduzzi thing, it is time for him to go. They should have been got rid of him because that's why people like my boy run and tell that series. You feel me? Why he's saying it's a weak conference. We got too many comfortable coaches in the ACC. They too comfortable. Once they get their 8 and 9 wins, the programs are too comfortable with that. They too comfortable with settling for mediocrity. Mm-hmm. You got to get your coaches to put that heat to their behind to make them want to win.
Yeah.
The conference need better coaches. That is one thing that the ACC is lacking when it comes to football. They are lacking the top coaches because they want to be a basketball conference still. Listen, you're finna lose that to the SEC and the Big 12 when it comes to basketball. So listen, football is the money maker. We got Mario. We got James Franklin in the conference now. Dabo, he got to tighten up. But get rid of Pat Narduzzi. Get some. Hopefully, Lane. My boy Lincoln Riley get fired from USC if he don't perform. And then you get him, bring him to Pitt, and maybe he'll have a better standard for y'all than just all these mediocre coaches. It's just making the conference look bad, and it happens to the committee. We can't get no 3 teams from the ACC in the playoff because the committee don't respect the conference. We got mediocre coaches.
Right. That's a fact. Hey, I agree. Pitt's. Like the inconsistency of this team is just Pitt's fans are not asking to be. I think they do want to be the Alabama, or they want to be competing. Pitt should absolutely be one of those top teams in that conference. They got to start competing with the SMUs and the Clemsons. And you can't let SMU come in here and just they came in. They got to be.
No reason why they get players. You don't have a Aaron Donald come to your program. You don't have a LaShawn McCoy come to your program. You don't have a Larry Fitzgerald come to your program. You don't have a Darrell Reeves come from your program.
Yeah, and
y'all
Texas
still can't compete on a high level because of these mediocre coaches y'all keep hiring.
Yeah, that's what it is. Period. And it's the media. We're tired of it. They're tired. We're tired of seeing this mediocre shit. Like, time for the dude to go. You know what I mean? If you can't do it, like, and this season's gonna be tough. You know what I mean? I get it. Rasheem Biles went to Texas. You lost Rasheem Biles. So how did you lose one of the best defensive linemen in college? How? Like, you can't keep him? What's going on? It's time to let it go.
Do bigger and better things, man.
It's time. I get that, but it's time to. And look, I don't knock him from going to Texas because he wants to win. You know what I mean? He wants to win. We got, like you said, there is a outstanding alumni list when it comes to Pitt. Larry Fitzgerald just got put in the Hall of Fame. He played
and I didn't want to bring up Dan Marino because he throwback, but Dan Marino come from Pittsburgh.
Oh, those teams was tough with Dan. But and the thing was,
they can get the talent. They just, I don't know. I guess people don't want to go to a mediocre mindset program. They want to go to a program that wants to win.
He wants to go and get the leftovers from other places instead of he's getting out recruited in Pennsylvania. First of all, you look at all the good and great Pitt teams. I know you ain't got time to, but when y'all get time to do this, right? Because I did it, and it was cool because I like to research some teams and go back in history and look at the history of these programs. When Pitt was really good back in the day with Dan Marino, when they was winning those national championships, Jim Kelly actually went to Miami. He's from Pennsylvania, right? He only left and went to Miami because Dan Marino was starting at Pitt, right? So that's how much talent is actually. There's a lot of talent and Eastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. There are a lot of good football talent. You getting out recruited in the main areas. He can recruit literally, and this no bullshit. You could a 250-mile radius, 200-mile radius of Pittsburgh, and you can put a damn good competitive ACC team that can be playing for the ACC championship on the field. He lost doing that. He's not doing that no more. You know what I mean? And they're so focused on going here and going there. Like, you're losing that area. Lock yours down first. And I don't think, look, and I will be fair and play a little bit of angel's advocacy here, right? Because when it's just not Narduzzi that's failing to do that. A lot of college football teams fail to lock down their local talent because there's guys who want to go there, who want to play there and not want to grind, right? That's a big thing to help. And there's talent but you got to lock that down first, get the core, and then go plug and play and say, okay, I can go get Jakari Turner from Florida. You know what I mean? because there's a lot of talent in Florida. A lot. There's tons of talent in Florida. All those guys can't go to the Florida schools, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So now I can go and get one of those guys. Okay, let me go get a Florida receiver. Let me get a Cali quarterback. Let me get a safety from here. But build your core right. That's how it's built. And Narduzzi is failing, and I don't know why or what the attitude is going around, but dogs are leaving.
So it's finna get worse for them, especially depending on how long James Franklin stay up there in that area. It's finna get worse for them. Now you might the DMV might be cut off for you now. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be in the DMV too, get some of them young men, but that might be finna get cut off for you because James Franklin finna be recruiting his butt off in that surrounding area up there. So it's gonna be serious.
That's who we needed. That's exactly who Pitt needed. They needed Franklin. They let him go. They that's who they needed right there. That's exactly who they needed, and I strongly stand on that. He does a great job at recruiting that area. He just does, and you seeing how successful he was recruiting that area. I mean, you got, and this is true because I know that I can't remember. I know of the young man. I know somebody that knows the young man that's going to play at Georgia. Right?
Marino came after Kelly left to the NFL.
Okay. You said Marino came. You said what? Marino came after Kelly left to the NFL.
Kelly went to the NFL before.
No. Marino was at Pitt, right? Mm-hmm. Marino was at Pitt. Kelly, I don't know if he started. Kelly and Marino was at around the same time. I'm there, right? Because
I'm not 100% sure, but I know Kelly was
it Kelly
the Bills.
It might have not been Kelly. It might not. I might got the name, but hold up. No, because he went. Was it Kelly? It was because he went. They was both. He from the area, bro. I'm not tripping. What am I? I'm not tripping, bro. Yeah, what are you talking about?
It all depends on the years. We could have got the years mixed up, but I ain't 100% sure on that neither.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on, bro. Because now I got a fact.
I was a baby when Marino was
I know it because I was on it. Now I just was on it. I just looked at it.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, but yeah, bro. Jim Kelly, bro. What are you talking about? Jim Kelly. He went to Miami, didn't he? Yeah. He went to Miami. He's from the crib, pretty much. He's from what? East Brady. You know what I mean? That's he's from Pennsylvania. Yeah, no, Jim Kelly he didn't got the last year. I think his last year why he didn't go to Pitt is what I'm saying. The reason why Jim Kelly didn't go to Pitt is because Marino was playing. Jim Kelly wanted to play. That's why he went down to Florida, down to Miami and played down there in Coral Gables. That's why. He wanted to play. Dan Marino, I believe Dan Marino was starting his last year at Pitt. Yeah, I know the OGs. I mean, come on, bro. I'm from the crib. You know what I'm saying? OGs I done heard it a million times. You know what I'm saying? Just like Curtis Martin, they call him Kurt. He from Homewood. Curtis Martin. He from the hood down there. Anyway, but that has nothing now to here or there. But there's a lot of good talent in the area, right? And they want to play. And I think you got to lock that down. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't go to Pitt. He didn't choose Pitt because Marino was there for a year or so. It wasn't probably long. But I was about to say, like, he lost his top running back recruit, right? From McKeesport. 5-star running back and PA. There's a lot of good talent that's right now in Pennsylvania right now. A lot of good guys, a lot of good football players, young football players too. 5-star running back going down to Georgia all the way from McKeesport, but grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, wanted to go to Pitt, but Pat Narduzzi did not recruit the young man. He did not recruit the young man, bro. Did not, like, it's crazy.
That right there tells you don't have confidence.
It's crazy.
Mediocre mindset.
But he wanted to go there though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see
the young man want to come to your school. You don't even got enough confidence to give yourself a chance. You're gonna miss every shot you don't take.
Which is crazy. And this goes that just goes to my point that, you know, he's doing a horrible job at recruiting local. You know what I'm saying? Like, at getting the local guys. Like, you got to lock those guys down. You got to lock those guys down. Amani Christian and Pittsburgh, they got a 4-star quarterback. He really ain't a quarterback. He's just an athlete. He's really a hitter. He plays safety. Colorado got him. How? Narduzzi, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Anyway, it just goes to my point that it's time for Narduzzi to go out of Pitt. I'm not cool with the mediocre. Y'all might be, but hey, I'm not. I think Pitt should be it's a beautiful city. Pittsburgh is a beautiful city. There's money up there. A lot of Irish money up there. Don't act like it's not, because I know it is from there. And they should definitely be competing in this NIL era in football a lot better and getting a lot better talent and being able to put teams out there that are constantly ranked and not unranked playing these teams they playing, right? Because the schedule is just whack. Now, I pulled up their schedule, right? Like, they'll mess around and win and go through this like nothing, right? And go through that like nothing. As soon as they get to Miami, they just lose all the rest of those games. They lose to Miami, lose to Georgia Tech, lose to Florida State, lose to Louisville, lose to California, drop 5 games. They win the first 7 and then just lose the last 5. Like,
I don't see them doing that this year, but that V-Tech ain't going to be easy for them.
I don't see it neither. Now, one thing I do know about Pitt is that defense is going to be there. I don't know what Mason is going to do, the quarterback, Mason Heichel. I don't know what he's going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's straight. He's a good athlete. I'm a little concerned about the receivers, but I think they did pick up a couple of receivers decently, but I mean, the defense, I have all the confidence in the world. I really do. I wish they still would have kept Rasheem Biles. That would have just took the defense over the top. But I think offense is just decided to worry about. I mean, we got Jakari Turner running the rock. I think he's going to be he's going to do a decent job. But I think they could. I think the first 4 for sure. I think they could get through that. Maybe drop the Virginia Tech game. I think they'll beat North Carolina. I think they could beat Boston College. So that's 6 games there, and then the rest. I think they go like 7-5 on the schedule. I don't know if I had to say that. I think we already did this before, but I don't know. But knowing Narduzzi and how he coached and how he galvanized the troops, like I said, they could drop 5 games in a row. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
You ain't lying.
But you know, I think for the last one, though, D, we got one more topic to get through. I appreciate you kicking it with me, brother. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Is Georgia falling off? Are we moving the goalposts for Kirby Smart? Are we? I gotta ask because, like, look, the reason why I asking is like because I'm wondering exactly what this falling off means, right? When people say that and people ask that question, right? Because I think Kirby, he created something good and great down there at Georgia. Georgia, even despite them not going to the big dance, they're still winning the conference, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're still winning the conference. He's still recruiting at a high level. He's still able to adjust mid-game and come out and play a totally different game in the second half. Georgia will score no points in the first half, be down 14, second half come out and play a totally different game and adjust it to your defense. Like, he's one of the best in college football at doing that. I think it's amazing because when I was taught to read film, after I learned how to read film, I watch football games different now, right? And it's weird, but I just do. But I think it's amazing when you watch Georgia in the way that they play because they come out every second half of a football game and look like a totally different team. Like, they adjusted. Like, do they be having an extra football field in a locker room or something that they just able to do the plays on or something? Like, because it looks good. It does. But the question is, and I don't know where that, because everybody we're talking about, I heard people talking about the development, the culture, the recruiting, the infrastructure, all that. And the thing was, and it came up because I was arguing somebody about the fact that Ohio State underachieving with Ryan Day, and is Georgia falling off under Kirby Smart. That's how we got here with this. And I was like, I'm bringing that up. That was a good conversation. But you could take it from here. You got the floor, brother.
Honestly, man, I still got confidence in Kirby Smart, man. I don't know what the hype is around UGA. Maybe because they didn't look as dominant as they did last year, but even so, they still won the conference, man. They got a deep roster. They still got a deep running back room. They got Nate Frazier, and they got the transfer Dante Down. He might, do something. Still got physical tight ends. Just an elite overall roster. Got elite secondary, man. But I will say the two problems I would say for Georgia, probably a lack of a certified go-to wide receiver for Gunner starting, and they was outside the top 100 when it come to pass rush, when it come to sacks. Basically, they couldn't get the amount of pressure that they usually get in latter years, but they still won the conference. If they was able to get more pressure on Trinidad Chambliss in the playoffs last year, they would have easily won that game. It was a back and forth battle. They just couldn't get pressure on the young man. And even when they did get some kind of pressure, he was able to get up out of there. So Georgia, I don't think Georgia's gonna fall off. I think honestly they're gonna win the SEC again. It's Kirby Smart, man. Kirby Smart ain't let the boat fall out. The bottom of the boat fall out yet.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. And look, I feel like I agree with everything you said, bro. I do. I don't disagree. I feel like Kirby Smart is one of the best coaches in college football. I really do. Like I said, he adjusts. There's a lot of things that's going on down at Georgia, you know what I mean, with cars and such, but that, and it is. But maybe everybody need to be letting them youngins do whatever they doing in cars down there at Georgia, because I tell you what, they continue to go out there and win. And I do think that winning covers a lot of that up. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk strictly football. And from a football perspective,
to be fair, man, them police in Georgia, they do not play the game. They gonna pull anybody. They don't care if you're going a nickel over the speed limit, 2 miles over the speed limit, you're gonna get pulled in Georgia. They don't play the radio. They want that state money.
Right. And yeah, but but yeah, like I was saying, like I believe that he's one of the best. And no, they're not falling off. And no, I don't think that Ryan Day has underachieved at Ohio State. Fuck no. And if was a fifth, we all would be drunk. But he did win the national championship. Yeah. So that stopped all that talk.
In the Ohio State thing, man, the conference has gotten better, I feel like, as far as the Big Ten. The conference ain't worse. You feel me? You don't added some nice programs from the West Coast to that conference, to make it a little bit more competitive. And they schedule a little tough this year, man. I ain't gonna count.
And yeah, I did Juan, I knew I was talking about, bro. I just looked at it and went and did the history. But to bring it up, Dan Marino and Jim Kelly both attended college in the same years.
Yeah.
1979 to 1982. That's why Jim Kelly chose to go to Miami, like I said, and play, because Marino was at Pittsburgh. That's why. But I mean, like, it's cool. It's cool though, because like I grew up hearing, you know what I'm saying, and hearing these stories and learning and also, doing my research and looking into these teams and seeing all the talent that was. And what I did was, so what I would like y'all to do is to go back and look at the 1979 to 1982 Pitts team and look and see how many guys were from Pennsylvania on that roster. They had
Tony Dorsett on there also. Now that I think about it.
From where?
I don't know exactly where he's from, but I know he played with Pitt.
No, you know where he's from. Where he from? Go ahead and spit it out.
He's from the Bird.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No, he ain't from the bird, bro. No, he ain't from the bird. Nah, but it goes into what I was talking about earlier, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was, I don't know. I think he like from the area, somewhere in the area, like Rochester or something. He ain't from the bird, but somewhere out that way. You could say he could rep the crib, and I won't be mad. You know what I'm saying? That just put it that way. You feel me? He could say from the bird, but that's it. It is what it is. But before we go though, D, can you give me 4 teams, bro? I mean, out of each power conference, the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, and the SEC, right? 4 teams that you think have to show improve this season.
Good question. Okay, the first team that's gonna have to show improvement is Clemson. Like Clemson, Dabo, you don't want to use the portal, which you use a little bit more this season. But Dabo, I feel like them Clemson fan, the pressure's on. And I heard from a little birdie, if my boy Tony Elliott at Virginia go win 10, 11 games, he coming for that job, boy. So you better do something. He familiar with the area. He was coaching there before as offensive coordinator. So Dabo, you better tighten up. So far as the SEC, man, I think Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M has underachieved a lot. As far as like how they recruited on a high level the last 4 or 5 years, but they still don't got nothing to show for it. No trophies, no football. I seen the recruit go there and say, "Y'all don't got no football trophies." He went to somewhere else.
Damn good choice. Damn good choice there, bro. Damn good choice.
The Big 12, man. The Big 12. You know what? I'm going to put a little pressure on BYU because they do consistently get 10 to 11 games, winning. But can you make the playoffs this year, baby? Can you finally get in the playoffs and make some noise, BYU? You got a chance to slap Notre Dame across the face and then handle y'all conference, and maybe y'all can sneak up in there. It's to be seen. And as far as the Big 10, I feel like you know what I'm going to go with the Big 10, man. USC, I want to see that matchup in the playoffs, Miami versus USC. So Lincoln Riley, can you get in the playoffs so we can get Southern California against Miami, Florida in a playoff game? I want to see it. Big city versus big city, baby.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. So obviously, with the Big 12, I already told you, show and prove for me is Colorado. I think Colorado have to show and prove. You know what I mean? Why? Once again, I think I'm putting him on the spot. Coach Prime in his 4th year, you bring in a guy, a highly esteemed other head coach to run your offense, coordinator Brendan Marion, got Chris Marv running that defense. Colorado got to show up and show. They got to prove something. Can't go 9-3, go 3-9. Got to bounce back this year. Show and prove, what y'all could do. And the Big 10, I was going out USC at Lincoln Riley. I think I could have went there, right, with the show and prove list. But I think another team has to prove themselves, and that's Washington. And I'm going with Washington simply because
good choice.
Your quarterback, was he leaving? Was he going? Was he leaving or was he going? We didn't know what he was doing. We didn't know what Desmond Desmond
they threatened to sue that boy.
There you go. Right there you go. Now you solidified and brought back one of college football's best dual threat quarterbacks, right? So, Jed Fish, you better get right. Washington, show and prove in the Big 10. You can't have a mediocre season. You got to step up and step over those guys. They keep saying they top heavy. You one of them guys who just came in. Show why you're one of those teams that came into the Big 10, right, to play ball. Bring that nature out. Now, with the ACC, like I said, it's an easy choice. We just got to finish really talking about them, but I got to go Pitt. I got to say Pitt because Narduzzi, I think he's in a hot seat to me. Narduzzi's on a hot seat. You know what I mean? Period, point blank. There's too much talent in PA. He's missing out on the talent. You letting 5-star guys go all the way to Georgia. You letting guys go to Colorado. You letting guys go everywhere but where they need to be at, and that's in Pitt. And they want to play there, and the great teams always have Narduzzi and Pitt. Y'all got to show and prove. You got to be able to compete with the SMUs. You got to give Clemson a good game. You got to give Miami's good games. You can't just be looked at on a Miami schedule and like, oh, we're going to beat them. you got to be like, we can't sleep on Pitt. You know what I mean? You got to have one of them teams, and you don't have that, and you haven't had that for the past couple of years because you'll win the first 7 games and you'll drop the last 5. Like I said, so Pitt that's easy to roll with in the SEC. Now, originally I had talked about Mizzou, but I'm not going to talk about Mizzou, right? I'm not going to say Mizzou, although I went with Mizzou earlier and talked about Austin Simmons getting there. And they were saying that he was the missing piece. Amal Hardy, he went through surgery. Everything is all right with him. He'll be back and rolling. Y'all had one of the best running backs in the SEC. You went got a quarterback that was supposed to be the missing piece because Bo Pribula couldn't get the job done. But Mizzou being mediocre. But nah, I'm going with Oklahoma this time. And I'm staying with Oklahoma. Why? Because you got John Mayter, arguably one of the best pure passers returning in college football. Before he had his thumb injury, he was on pace to be a Heisman favorite. Let's not forget that. John Mayter was tearing it up. Now, Brett Venables being a defensive-minded coach, y'all got y'all returning defensive linemen, and y'all's time to eat. It's time to show up. I think Oklahoma got to show and prove this year why y'all made that move, why you got a quarterback, everything's in place for Brett Venables. You cannot go to the playoffs and lose. You got to go to the playoffs and at least get a game. That's what I think. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. That's the show. It's a wrap, folks. DP can let y'all know what you know what I mean. Shout yourself out,
Hey,
dog.
man, come show me love at Daryl Page Talking Sport with DP, man. Appreciate you for having me on, Chubb. It's always a good time, brother.
All the time, bro. You know how we do it. And those who don't know me by now, or whatever, you know what I mean, you can find me here on YouTube. I appreciate y'all tapping in, like, share, subscribe, comment, hype the videos up when you do see them. I'm on TikTok, but not very much. But find me here on the tube, man. I appreciate all of y'all out there, man, tapping in tonight. Appreciate Juan. Always appreciate you, Juan. You know what I'm saying? And your banter. I appreciate that. I wish you would come up and conversate with us a little bit. Appreciate Rentel that in the comments. He came through, showed some love. Appreciate Coach Hayes. Salute you, Coach Hayes.
OG,
yeah, I mean, OG, dog. Give him a round of applause. Yeah, I mean, Coach Hayes come through, blessing the platform and all that. Who else is it? Hall of Fame. Appreciate you too, my brother. Appreciate you. I seen you come through, man. Appreciate you. Who else came through, man, that I ain't catch? I don't know. Carlito. I think Carlito came through. What's up, Carlito? Appreciate you, bro. Who else? I don't know. If I missed you, man, Deep Water. Appreciate you coming through, man, showing us love. Motivated, dedicated. Jen, appreciate you. Appreciate all the love, man, that we get, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tap in with us, man. Make sure y'all keep supporting us, man. We out here grinding while we grinding. Appreciate y'all, man. And like I always tell y'all, pray for yourself, pray for each other, pray for me. I'm always praying for y'all. Peace.
Amen, brother.